Yes, people, what is going down? It's DJ Ash Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. We're live, and today we're doing the part two of the Blackout Crew are back. So, if you're not in the loop, if you're not aware, the Blackout Crew, which were like a group of donk MCs that made it mainstream big back in the late noughties, so around 2008, 2009. Um, they had tracks that got signed to some pretty big labels at the time, and they had an album called Time to Shine that got a full release. It was a proper, fully commercialized, released album that was kind of just absolutely massive, and they had tracks that sort of came out and you could hear them on Clubland TV and stuff like that. And they were essentially my, I don't want to say idols, but they were like a group that I was very much into around that era. And it was that group that sort of got me into all the kind of like Alex K and the Donk, and just kind of got me into that kind of like bounce vibe. Um, so there was a massive inspiration for me sort of around that era, and their tracks such as Put a Donk on It, Here Together, Rum Pa Pum Pa, Ravers Binge, all them classics. He's in the Back, Donkatronic, No Guns, No Knives, just loads of great stuff. Not Enough. um, yeah, just some absolute belting tunes came out back in the day. And anyway, a couple of weeks ago, a while ago, I saw a post on Facebook from a guy who is very well known for putting memes up, and very well known for having a joke online, and in some sense tricking people. Like he would sometimes put like videos up, and it'd be like, oh, so and so has been back in the studio today, and when you click on the video, it's just like, Baby Shark over the top of the track, to make it look like that's what he's been doing in the studio, and just essentially tricking and having a laugh with people online. So he put a post up saying that the Blackout Crew are back in the studio, and I saw the post and I didn't believe it. I was like, yeah, all right, then you're probably just having a laugh or putting one of your sort of like jokey posts up, and they're not getting back in the studio, because why would they? And you know, I'd spoken to a guy briefly through comments a on a post. I think I'd found the old album in a charity shop, and I'd bought it, and I'd put a picture up, and someone had tagged him, and I left a comment asking like, when's the next album going to be? And they at the time, I think it was Cobra, sort of left some replies that sort of led me to think that there was in no plan to make any music again, and there was in no plan to do any form of albums. And I think that is totally not the case. But at the time, if there was maybe keeping things hush, then obviously they would maybe just play it like that, just not to obviously give anything away. So, of course, when I saw Matt Cheese's post, the person who put the post up, I just instantly thought that this guy was just having us on, and the Blackout Crew was, in a matter of fact, not in the studio. So I just ignored it, really. I just thought, yeah, all right then. Yeah, they're not going to be in the studio, are they? And then a couple of weeks after that, I saw that there was a reel had been shared, and it was the Blackout Crew going to a house party that had been invited to by Jax Jones, and they was performing what was to be their new upcoming single that was going to get released with Jax Jones, and it gets released tonight. And I then realised that Matt Cheese was actually telling the truth on his post, and they had, as a matter of fact, been in the studio, and they was working on new music. And I was like absolutely buzzed at this. This was like, this was like the best thing I've heard all year. That one of my all-time favorite music groups from growing up were reuniting to make more donk music essentially, and do what kind of got me into the whole donk side of things. Um, I was proper buzzed. I was proper excited. So they've made a track with Jax Jones called "Won't Forget You." So I think the original sort of I think Jax Jones originally released a version of "Won't Forget You," which was like his usual typical sort of commercial house. And then I think there was just playing around in the studio, and they thought like this tune might sound good with a donk on it, so he put like a donk sound on it. Um, and then I don't really know how the whole Blackout Crew bit came about, but they got the Blackout Crew back on this track. So what I thought I'd do in today's stream is tell you my thoughts on the track, and talk a little bit about the future of the Blackout Crew and stuff like that. So what you will notice if you listen to the old Blackout Crew is that there's a new member. So Lukey P is a new member of the Blackout Crew, and there is also some members of the Blackout Crew that are absent, so they must no longer be a part of the group. Or when they was asked, do you want to come back with the group and reunite, and maybe for whatever reason, maybe some of them said no, maybe some of them didn't. But there's no Zach K, and there's no Dowie. So the only original people that I'm aware of is Cobra and Viper. And I could be missing some people out. I know there was a guy called Tony who used to make all the donk tunes, do all the backing tracks back in the day. So don't quote me on this, because I'm not a Blackout Crew expert, and I can't fully remember every single member of the original group. But there's a picture on the thumbnail of this stream, and it is of the original group. And yeah, there's a couple of people that are no longer a part of the group anymore for whatever reason. So the group has kind of shortened a bit. But two of the main people, Viper and Cobra, are still very much alive and kicking. And they've kind of like reformed this group, and they've asked Lukey P to obviously be a part of the new group, which is absolutely amazing. So the new track, what do I think of the new track? Because the new track has been absolutely smashing it. It's been absolutely killing it. When the house party video went up, that reel smashed absolutely thousands upon thousands of views. And then they put a little preview up on SoundCloud of the track, and then again that just hit like absolutely thousands upon thousands of views. And like everything, there is also like mixed comments, and there's mixed thoughts upon the track, and you're always going to get the people that are instantly going to go, it's not like it was back in the day. The Blackout Crew, they're not like they used to be. And the truth of it is they're not like they used to be. But that's not, we're not in 2008 anymore. So it's all right saying they're not like they used to be, but everything is not like it used to be. 2008, even though like 2008, believe it or not, is over 10 years ago now. So a lot has changed in over 10 years. Music's changed a lot. The way we listen to music has changed dramatically since then. Sort of 2008 was kind of like the sort of beginning of like streaming sites. It was the beginning of like Spotify and Apple Music kind of coming onto the scene, but they weren't that big back then, and a lot of people were still collecting CDs, and a lot of people were still putting the music channels on telly. Who does that now? And I can see a lot of music channels on TV. I can see a lot of them shutting down because of the way music's going. So instantly, people have got to change, and people have got to adapt. And the Blackout Crew, they've very well sort of adapted to what things are like now, and the way music is now. And if they'd have gone back and just done like another put a donk on it, it wouldn't have probably have done as well as the route that they've gone down now. So yes, it's not exactly like they used to be, although there is still some similarities of how they used to be, and it still does in a lot of sense feel like you are listening to a track by the Blackout Crew. Like when they're coming in and spitting, it does kind of feel like the old days. But like I said, they've had to adapt, and a lot of things have changed over the years. So the track is called "Won't Forget You," and it's been produced by none other than Jax Jones, who is obviously absolutely massive in the music scene itself. Not the bounce scene, because he's never really been a donkhead, but he's had massive hits that have been in the charts and stuff. So he's obviously he's the real deal. Let's say he's done a fair few things when it comes to making music and releasing music. So my thoughts on the track. I personally love the track. I think the track sounds good. It fits the era of what we're in today. The vocal fits really nicely. It does. When you listen to the original house version of the track, it does. The vocal does scream out that it needed that little bit of a faster remix, if that makes sense. Like it was kind of almost in some sense like you could picture like Billy Gillis or like David Rust doing something with that track, but probably Billy Gillis more so, because it doesn't need a remix that is too hard, but it just needed something that was just a little bit more faster and a bit more pumpier. And Jax Jones kind of did that very clever, and sort of gave it that little bit of a more ravey feel, but still somewhat kept it very commercial. And I think that was like a really good sort of route to go down. And I do actually really like the backing track. I think it sounds really good. The vocal is catchy, and I like the sort of like melodies in it, and all the sounds in the track just sound really good. The Blackout Crew with their lyrics, they just come in like they always do, and like they've done on their previous tracks, and they've just got them like lyrics that you remember. You hear them spit, and you can remember their lyrics easily, because you know there was a group of like Billy Bad Boy Donk MCs, but you could always understand what they were saying. And a lot of the tracks on their original album, like I learned quite a lot of words to a lot of the tracks, because they were easy to learn. And they weren't just going like biddy 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 check 1 2. There was actual words that you could understand, and there was sentences, and there was stories. And that's what the Blackout Crew were always good at. Kind of in a way like just sounding really slick and professional over tracks. And they've done exactly the same with this new track, with this track "Won't Forget You," and they've gone come straight in with donking again. And already, like when you go on social media, Like people are just sharing videos and putting donking again, and statuses up, and it just says we're donking again. It's having an effect on people, and people, they've written just that simple lyric there, donking again, and it's like stuck in hundreds of people's heads, and it's all people, are obviously talking about, which is a really good thing. Now, the only thing that lets me down about this track, and this is the only thing, and it's nothing to do with the actual backing beat. It's nothing in some sense. It's nothing to do with the Blackout Crew themselves. But the only thing that I kind of feel is a little bit of a letdown on the track is it kind of feels to me like the Blackout Crew, they just get going, like like they start off with a rhyme and they just get going, and it's like they're just getting right into it, and then they stop because the vocal comes in. And I just, in the older tracks, they used to spit for a lot longer. They had some like longer verses, whereas these, it was almost like they were spitting 8 bars and then the vocal was coming back in. And me personally, I don't mind it, but I don't love it, because it kind of, to me, it feels like, that they've just started off, and they're just getting into this real nice flow, and they've just spat some really good lyrics, and they're just getting into it, and then it's like boom, they stop and a vocal comes back in. And you know, I just think personally, I would have just extended some of like the actual backing beat. When he'd made like the donk version, he should have just essentially made the sections with no vocals where the Blackout Crew spit. If he'd have just like done them for like another 8 bars, it would have sounded a lot better. But it's like they're just coming in, a couple of them like spit, and then they drop out because a vocal comes in, and that is like the only thing that I feel like kind of just like lets it down just ever so slightly, because like you want to hear like this Blackout Crew's return, and then they're too they're too dipping in and out for the vocal essentially. But it, nevertheless, it doesn't. It's still an amazing track, and I still love it personally. Some people have said it sounds more like Makina than it sounds like Bounce. Personally, I can hear some Makina elements in there, but I definitely feel like it sounds like a Bounce track. If anything, for me, it sounds like something that Billy Gillis would do. Personally, you could picture it just having that little bit more trancier bass to it. Personally, that's what I feel with it, but it still fits like this Bounce version really well. But what I was going to say, what I was going to say is essentially they've done an amazing job, and they've come back and they've taken the World Wide Web by storm, and this track is getting a full release at midnight tonight. What more do you want? What more could you want than that? Absolutely amazing. So that's what they've done. That's what they've done. So they've come out there, they've made this tune, they've reunited, they've returned, and they've come back with a bang, and they put the Bad Boy Chiller Crew to shame, and they actually do. And I said this in the last stream. I said that I hope that they put the Bad Boy Chiller Crew to shame, because me, I'm not a big fan of the Bad Boy Chiller Crew. I don't specifically. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I'm not really into the vibe of what they do. Like the vibe I get from the Bad Boy Chiller Crew is that they're like advertising being a chav stroke roadman. And I just think like you know people like that style of music, and they watch them style of music videos, it makes people that want to be like them wanna wheelie on a motocross bike just in shorts and a t-shirt. And we all know that if you come off a bike and you're only wearing shorts and a t-shirt, you are gonna graze very badly. It's gonna hurt, trust me. It is going to hurt. And you know, when you watch something like the TT, the Isle of Man TT, and you see them go around the Sneerfell mountain course at like 160 miles an hour plus, you know, and you see them come off, and you know they've got all the protected gear on in the world. You know, they've got helmets, leathers, gloves, you know, and they put new rules in place every year for that circuit, and there's a death, like, at least that, you know, there's at least one death every year when that event takes place. And you know, like, so if you know, you're riding a motocross bike and you're just in shorts and a t-shirt and you come off it, it's gonna hurt, you know. um and I just think they advertise that riding around like that is cool, and having a bifter in your mouth is cool, and necking a bottle of vodka is cool, and you know, and threatening to take someone's door off its hinges is cool. You know, like, you know, let's all be little chavs. You know, everybody be like us, be like little chavs. You know, and you know, let's swear in every song, and you know, let's talk about robbing banks in every song. I mean, you know, I mean, I did the track, The Robbing Business. It was a little bit of fun, but you know, what in them lyrics was really, you know, like, if anything, like, the lyrics were very clean. Mine was just like waiting down the alley in the car. We got the boys, we got the crowbar. You know, there was nowhere effing and blinding, and there was no music video to make you, you know, to convince you, like, yeah, you need to get into becoming a crook and robbing banks, and you know, be part of a crew, and you know, so they always put me off. You know, and a lot of people like them. A lot of people, which I've got nothing against other people liking them, and it's not my job in this world to, you know, tell people what they can and can't watch just because I don't like something. You know, a lot of people seem to do. But the Blackout Crew, you know, they're just very user friendly with their lyrics. They're very commercial. They're easy to understand, and they still sound good. You know, they sound good. They sound banging, and they're not effing and blinding on their commercial tracks, and you know, they just sound really good, and they don't sound like they're promoting violence or they're promoting bad behaviour. You know, like some of their older tracks, like Rum Pa Pum Pa, there was nothing. You know, there was nothing that was really like, oh yeah, come with me, come and, you know, come and be part of this, you know, bad boy crew, and take drugs, and you know, they had that sort of like chavvy image, but everything was always kind of kept on a sort of commercial level when it came to the commercial songs. And then they had the stuff where they're just ripping up over donk sets, you know, where they're being a little bit ruder, but you know, it was like, you know, where they knew how to do it, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so the Blackout Crew have come back, and you know, they've annihilated the you know, the Bad Boy Chiller Crew. They've come back, and you know, even the Bad Boy Chiller Crew don't get hits like this. So you know, they've had big hits. Don't get me wrong, but the Blackout Crew's here to dominate. The Blackout Crew's here to stay. They're making some more music. They've been back in studios. So I wanted to do like a little part two, like a little update. This is what they've been getting up to. This is what they've been doing. This is us. You know, they are the Blackout Crew. We are the Blackout Crew. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzed for them. I wish them all the happiness, and I wish them all the um, yeah, I wish them everything, and more besides, with their future. So yeah, so that was really it for the stream. That was the plan. That was yeah, that was kind of what we got going on. That was I wanted to do a part two. I wanted to update because I love to update. Absolutely love to update. So, what I will update you with though, just uh, before we do, um, before we do end off the stream, is I thought I'd give you a little bit of a work update. So, work update. So I don't do this all the time because work is kind of it's outside of like it's kind of a tough one because it's kind of outside of my music stuff, but it's kind of not at the same time because I'm in like a music related job. So for those of you who have been living under a rock, you might be sort of fairly new to the channel and you've not seen this before. You've not heard me talk about this. So I work for an organisation called the Goodwin Development Trust. Now, the whole story of how I got this job was there's a little bit of a story to it, so I'll briefly tell you. But the Goodwin Development Trust, they're like an organisation, and they do a whole range of different things. They do music, they do housing, they do video games, they do cooking, they do sort of like they do a group called Disability, and they do just like a whole ton of different things. They do maths and English, and essentially, I got sent here by the job centre just to basically get help looking for work. So if you're looking for work essentially, and you kind of like just need additional help, like help with your CV, or maybe you just struggle with like reading and writing, and you struggle at sort of like physically applying for jobs because you're dyslexic and you're spelling. um, so they work with all of that stuff. So I got sent to the Goodwin Development Trust to just essentially get help looking for work, and joined their disability program, which was to help people sort of get back into work who maybe have a little bit of a disability, whether it be like a learning difficulty or whether it be something a bit more severe, people in wheelchairs, for example. So I joined the program in late 2022, and sorry, not 22, late 2021, and I was on the program sort of from late 2022 all the way to just about sort of July, August of 2022. So from late 21 to sort of just past mid 22, I was on their program, and I got to the point where I was sort of due to sort of finish with them. So there was like three stages. So there was stage one, stage two, and stage three. So stage one was just essentially like you learn really basic skills, sort of about like openness, and it was like really just about building on confidence. Stage two was kind of where you work a little bit more towards like what do you actually want to do, what sort of career path do you want to go down, what sort of job do you want to go down, what do you want to do essentially. And then stage three was kind of right, you are now, you what you've learned from the last two stages, you come to essentially job club and apply for jobs and start looking for jobs, and you are now ready, you are confident enough to get back into work essentially. So I was just about to go onto the stage three when I got the opportunity of a job at Goodwin itself. So I got a phone call from someone who works at Goodwin, and there was like, I'm ringing you up with a little bit of exciting news. There's a job going, within our place, and it's a little bit of a music related job. I think this would be like a perfect job for you. There's an interview going on Thursday. Have this interview. We'll prep you for the interview. We'll make sure you're all ready so you can go and smash it. You can go and get this job. So I obviously prepped and prepared, and I had this interview, and just essentially a couple of hours after the interview, I got a phone call, and sadly, I hadn't been fortunate enough to get the job. Two other people had received the job. However, one of the people that received the job was only in the job for a very, very short while. I don't even think they was in the job for a week. So anyway, they weren't in the job long, and a couple of weeks prior to being told that you haven't got the job, this woman had left, was no longer really, interested in the job, and just essentially the job got offered to me. So I got offered the job to work alongside another person who got the job with the woman who, for some reason, just didn't stay in the job. Um, and I got the job, and I've been working in the job ever since. So my job role is I'm a youth music facilitator. So I got invited to run a brand called the Hull Youth Music Network, and the idea was to put on like networking events and just to basically improve music provision in the whole city. So, like performance opportunities, just giving people, in a sense, just a good sort of understanding and a good chance to get involved in the whole music scene, and give people who have maybe like only just like strummed a guitar in the bedroom that chance to get out there and get into some of Hull's best venues and get on stage and show your musical talents, and also give people a say in what's missing. What does the whole music scene need? And it was a job for me that I thought was right up my street, because when I was getting into music, there was like literally nobody really to really help, apart from like you could jam with a few friends, and a lot of things like the MCing. No one sat there and taught me how to MC. The DJing, no one sat there and taught me how to DJ. I sort of went on decks myself and learnt myself. I had a couple of jams at friends' houses when they had like house parties and things, and that was all kind of help, but no one physically like sat there and tutored me. There was nowhere to really like, oh, come to these DJ workshops. I was living in Drift at the time, and there was none of that. And I just thought, what, I want to be a part of like being able to give people like opportunities to get involved, and give people a chance. So I started working on this project, and then sadly in sort of late sort of summer of this year, my work partner, Cameo Brooks, sadly left the job. He left the job role due to money issues and needing. He basically, essentially, he had two jobs, and the other job just was paying more, sadly, than this job, and he had to unfortunately take the other job. Over this job he had to pick, and sadly had to leave this one. So the whole Youth Music Network brand has kind of just become me now. So I like solo run the brand, and the work's funded. So every so many months your contract can be up for renew. It can run out, and essentially if they don't find the funding, there's a good chance that your contract will run out, and then sadly you'll be out of a job, which is kind of it's the worst part about the job, because I love the job so much that I don't want it to end. But there's always that kind of knowing that, you know, there's a possibility here that it might end. And currently at the moment, my contract is until January of 2024. So I'm kind of hoping that I can stay in the job, and I can be a good part of the job still, and they can extend it when January obviously comes. So the whole Youth Music Network, like I say, we improve performance opportunities in the city, and just music provision as a whole. And we do one of well, we do loads of different things. So one of the main things that we do is we put networking events on. So these events, we give performance opportunities to people, and we also give like young people a chance to feedback and a chance to fill out forms and tell us what's missing. You know, what they want to see more of in the whole music scene. And essentially, that's one of the main things that we do. And unfortunately, we lost some of our funding. Obviously, you know, to put these events on, there's like drinks, there's venue hire, you know, there's a lot of stuff to put into consideration, and we lost a lot of our funding. So trying to put an event on with like low budget was obviously just not the best thing. So obviously, we kind of took a little bit of a seat back from putting the events on. But I'm happy to announce that we are returning to putting some events on. So there's one that we're going to be putting on this month actually, and it's getting planned. It's in the pipeline. I've been given a date, so I've just got to finalise with my boss that we can use the date that has been given to us by the venue, that they would be free for us to host the you know, the event itself. So I very much run the brand, but like I work for my boss. So my boss is kind of, I suppose, like he's kind of like he's kind of the guy who kind of like, if I want to do something like with the brand, like I've kind of got to get his say so, if that makes sense. So like when it comes to dates and things, like I have to like say like, look, you know, is this date good for, you know, are we good to use this date, you know. But apart from that, like I get pretty much like free reign of, like, you know, I can design the poster more or less how I want it. The only thing I've got to do is put like certain funding logos on the posters. So like you know, we have to have like specific logos on there to show that, you know, that it's part of an organisation and stuff. But I can design the posters, and I can book like whoever I want really for artists within reason. Like, you know, it's not me that pays for them, so like, you know, I get told like there is a budget, so I have to kind of like work within the budget. So like I couldn't just say like, oh, we're gonna get Guns N' Roses for this one, you know. You know, nothing on a mega scale like that, but I can kind of like scout for like local talent essentially. You know, and I'm told like, you know, this, you know, we've got so much you know, in the pot to put this event on, and then I just have to try and put something on sort of within that budget. But you know, we make the flyers ourselves, you know, so that kind of saves on a bit of cost there. So all we really do is just say like, look, we give performance opportunities, and you know, and it's a paid opportunity. So you know, we give like, say like solo acts like 40 quid sort of per performance, you know. So if they perform, they get like 40 quid for it, you know. Up and comers who are just starting out and getting their very first gigs, you know, they're very happy with that. They love that, you know, that they've gone somewhere and done something that they never dreamed that they'd be doing, and then they've, you know, they've been able to even just earn a little bit off it as well. and get involved in some amazing music. So yeah, so I get more or less rain light of the full event. It's just there's a couple of things I have to go back to the boss and say, look, can we do this? Is this date good? You know, posters and things. You know, is this good for the poster? Is there anything you want me to put on there? Anything that wants changing? And then if he says yes, you know, change this, then obviously I've got to change it. But then apart from that, you know, we're all good. We've got free reign to kind of like, you know, if we've got any ideas and we think they'll work, you know, we're told like very strongly, you know, within our job, like to give them ideas a try. You know, don't always wait on wondering what we'll think. You know, sometimes jump the gun and try it if you think it's going to better the brand. So it's really good. So outside of that, we run a weekly session called Music Lab, which is for 16 to 29-year-olds to come down to a grassroots music venue in Hull and get basically experience of jamming out in a live band. So imagine you was in a band and you would be like rehearsing and you'd be like making music and you'd be putting like songs together. That is essentially what Music Lab is. We have a range of different people that come from like guitar players, bass players, drummers, singers, people that have an interest in music and they want to start, but they've never played an instrument before. So we get a mixture of different people coming in, and we just get together on a Monday. We jam out, we make music, and we just absolutely have a good time. And another session that we run every Thursday is we open up a music studio and people can come in and get free recordings. So if you've got a track or you want to strum something out on the guitar and record it, you can come into our studio for free. If you want to sort of learn a little bit about making beats, we put FL Studio on, and we can make music. You can make beats, you can sing, you can do whatever essentially. You can just come in and get the feel of the studio. You don't have to come in and leave the studio with a song. Or leave with something recorded. It's in the studio to get experience. You can come in, have a play around with the equipment, and you can just get that feel of what it's like to be in a studio. If you've never been in one before, or maybe you're an upcoming artist and you can't afford to pay to go in studios, book our one out for free and get some of your material out there and start building up your portfolio of music, which is a really great way of doing things. And then alongside that, we occasionally get invited to other events, and they'll say, look, would you run a music stage for us, or would you just come and be at this event and show your presence and just be a part, just sort of maybe get up on the mic and say a little bit about what you do. So work, that is obviously kind of what I do, and we're bringing, like I say, a couple of events back, and we've been invited to we've been invited to essentially run the last hour of a music stage for an event called Out of the Box, and we're going to book some people just to do the last sort of the last hour of the event essentially, and it's a really nice flyer as well, so it's really good. So yeah, that is essentially what we do. It's what I do. Wicked job. So anyway, we babbled on, so that's going to do it. Make sure to like, comment, share, all the good stuff, and we'll see you soon.